Islam, Islam, Islam. As we rise, giving eternal praise to Allah, giving highest honors to our holy and divine Prophet, Noble Ali. As we open up our Islamic Sufi Sunday school, we open up with prayer. Those who may join us, we pray 5 on the left, 2 on the right, in representation of our divine laws and honors to the perfect man. So those may join us at this time. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Ali. Amen. Islam, Islam, Islam. As we continue forward, learning and submitting to the will of Allah, is Allah the only one who is praiseworthy. He is most gracious and beneficent, as Allah is the only one whom we worship. We can never repay up the debt that we owe unto Allah. It's with gratitude that we continue forth on the Mustaqim, that we assist the brother and the sister that's on the path with us. We can never comprehend the infinite Allah, but Allah sends us guiders. He sends us messengers. He encompasses a portion of that divine understanding within those great men and women, that we may recognize it when we see and we're in the presence of one who is divinely inspired and guided by the Spirit of Allah. As Allah so loved us, He sent to us in a special part of Himself, clothed in divine flesh, in His most noblest image, and that is our holy and divinely ordained prophet, Noble Ali. As our holy and divine prophet, Noble Ali, was prepared in due time to become the prophet of Allah. As he went through the learning, he went through the challenges, he went through all of the ways of life, that he may be able to assist us in our plight, as he himself succumbed to those same issues that we face. And he overcame them. And he brought to us this new idea, this new encompassing upliftment called Islam, from the Moorish perspective. And he says it's Islamism, which is our way of life. As we give honors to our holy and divine prophet, as he unselfishly, we say he unselfishly placed together and formulated a system within the system that is not hampered, interfered with, or molested, a system that is geared toward your success if you work and maintain your boundaries within the system. And that is the Moorish Science Temple of America. We call it the educational branch of the Moorish nation. Whereas you learn of your national identity, you learn of your religious creed, and you put this formulation together, and you become what you are. You become what you say you are. And that is a Muslim. As the Prophet Noble Ali declared that on the nationality card, that by performing tasks, by staying in alignment with the laws, the rules, the regulations, that you'll be recognized as a Muslim. So we give honors, high honors to our holy and divine prophet, as he himself set the criteria that all must meet and maintain in order to continue to call themselves Moorish American, and specifically those who are looking to become Moorish American Muslims. So we cannot give him enough honor for the due diligent work from the humanitarian part, but from the spiritual upliftment, the spiritual reconnection that he formulated for us to be back at one with Allah. And we give honors to who he gave honors to, which were the divine prophets that's mentioned on our nationality card: Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius. And those are just the divine prophets that we are encouraged to learn. We're encouraged to learn of their life, works, and teachings, their divine ministry. And we can compare it with each of the prophets and see that there is a unification, and that is to get us back on the true path to Allah, to teach us how to live without sinning, and many other avenues toward Allah on how we present ourselves to Allah, what we have to go through, how we have to prepare ourselves, how we go about cleansing ourselves that we may be acceptable. So we give those honors to where those honors are due, to those divine prophets. We also give honors to St. Marcus Saragari, the Harbinger, the John the Baptist of this era time. We give honors to his organization, the UNIA, that boasted membership in the millions here on this land and worldwide. Those who were in association, those who assisted, we give them honor. So at this time we're giving honors to the first Grand Sheikh. So at this time we're going to take a short break, so stand by.
I said, Marcus, and I have this book here. It's the first and foremost principle of Islam. All other beliefs hang upon it. Now, what do you mean by that? What is this belief? There is no Allah but Allah. There is no Allah but Allah. When man was formed in the dust of the ground, he stood before Allah. When man was formed from the dust of the ground, he stood before Allah. In your Bible, in Genesis, it says God then walked and talked with man and told man, touch that, don't touch that. Go over here, don't go over there. Do this, don't do that. And man submitted. That's it. And when man submitted, it was peace in paradise. No harm came to anything in paradise. Animals lived in paradise. Birds flew over paradise. Fish swam through paradise. The creeping things creep up and through paradise. In the Quran of Mecca, Surah 2, verse 30, and it's Allah says, I'm going to read it as Allah said it here. In the Quran, Surah 2, verse 30. And it clearly says this here. The son of they ask how many times a day I pray. And I ask them, so are you Allah? No. Then why need to tell you? Well, no. What you have is a foreign custom. Let me prove my point. It shows the growth and development of the prophet as an unconscious agent. Mama had a daddy, cried, poopy-dooed up, greatest heroes. Who we now classify as the saint. Saint Marcus beside God. Sit up in the nation. But he's down, sit up, he said, come out of. That's how the Bible says, come out of. Do not partake of Babylonian food. Do not partake of Babylonian custom. Do not take of nothing of Babylon. And I remember I said, little brother, one of God's descendants. I was amazed because
Islam, welcome back. As we continue forward, as we was demonstrating the first Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America, St. Edward Miliel, as he was appointed by the Holy Divine Prophet Noble Ali, and he was accepted by the Grand Body of 1928. We give him honor as he was the first, but not necessarily because of that, because Allah's love thought, our Holy Divine Prophet chose him to lead his flock. And we give honors for that. And we're giving a special honors to our present day Grand Sheikh, our Sheikh of Islam here in the West. We affectionately call the Chief of Ministers, Sheikh Dr. Rasadiel. We give honors to all those who are on his staff, those of the trustee board, the Sheikh board, the Grand Body, all Grand Governors and Governors, Grand Sheikhs, Grand Sheikhs, adepts, members, friends, sympathizers. Give them honors this day. As always, we read the opening. It's called The Prophethood. And for those who are looking, you can receive this book by searching Toward the Understanding of Islam. And it's a work that points out many different areas of Islam in general. You have to excuse the background noise. Islam in general, and it's from Prophet Muhammad's and those followers' perspective. But as far as the faith, it is universal. So here we go. Y'all ready? Since they're making all the noise. It's when it becomes quite clear that a certain person is a true prophet of Allah. The natural result of this realization is that his word should be accepted, his instructions followed, and his orders obeyed. It is unreasonable to accept a man as Allah's prophet, and yet not believe in what he says or not follow what he ordains. Your very acceptance of him as Allah's prophet means that you have acknowledged that what he says is from Allah Almighty, and that whatever he does is in accordance with Allah's will and pleasure. Now, the disobedience to him is the disobedience of Allah, and the disobedience of Allah leads to nothing but ruin and devastation. Therefore, the very acceptance of the prophet makes it incumbent upon you to bow to his instructions. You may not be able to fully the wisdom or the usefulness of that order, but the very fact that an instruction has emanated from the prophet is sufficient guarantee for its truth, and there can be no room for doubt or suspicion. Your inability to understand it is no reason for us having a flaw or defect, for a common man's understanding is not flawless. It has its own limitations, and they cannot be ignored altogether. Islam. As we continue forth from our Blessed Holy Day service, many topics that were talked on, many concepts that we reviewed. But this concept is one of the greatest parts of becoming a member of a religious community, because each of the religious communities have that one figurehead, that one person that brought this whole idea to a people. We're talking about the prophet. And first and foremost, you see what he has put together, he has formulated, that all of the results have been positive and can be proven to be true. And once you get that particular part of your understanding, then you can make the decision if you want to join in with him and his idea and concept. And we look at Prophet Jesus and when he started his divine ministry, and those disciples that was with him, those who saw the miracles that he performed, those who witnessed all of these miraculous things that never in their life could have seen unless they were there present. But look how they didn't have the faith to carry on. I mean, this passage is saying when the person meets that criteria of what you believe to be a prophet, what you can compare to the scripture, and he equals out to that or greater, then you make the decision if you're going to follow his divine inspired administration or someone else's, and that's your privilege. So we look at our Buddhist brothers and sisters, those who are in Judaism, we look at the Islamic community, and we look at those in Catholicism, Christianity in general. Here it's called the Baptists or all the other different denominations. But they had to have the belief in not only the minister or the pastor who was teaching the life, works, and those divine teachings of that prophet. They had to have the belief in it first and foremost. And that is what it's saying. If you can qualify the person that meet the criteria for that specific religious concept, then what he's done, what has been documented, and even those who were there, that's why we give our leadership high honors based on the fact that he sat with those members who was with the prophet during the prophet's lifetime, and that they were eyewitness accounts. They bear witness to the many things that he did, said, that's recorded, but also they were able to retain it and teach to him in a way that, hey, when someone's teaching you or telling you a story and you can follow them with your mind, you can see it with your mind, it's like you're right there. And very few people can tell it in a way where I see what you're saying. You ever done that? Mm-hmm. That means you're focused on the lesson. You're focused on the lesson because it resonates with your spirit through your soul. So these individuals that were able to transfer that knowledge, that understanding to our leadership, and thus he is putting so much in book form that you can buy the book, and in your leisure you can go page by page, line by line, and now you have the videos. To 2004, 5 on the YouTube, I guess it was called Islam in America from the Moorish perspective. All of these avenues are ways that you can yourself garner what he has learned. You know, I always state that he's been a member actively for 50 years. So he has 50 years ahead of you when you first meet him. But what about those who were there during the prophet's term, which put that at 70 years? So his 50 years of actively learning, and he joined in the 70s, the prophet was here in the 20s, that's 50 more years. That's 100 years that you get just by conversating with the leadership. And then on top of that, the prophet getting his from Allah. So how can you go wrong? So the credentials of the individuals are very important, basically because you can be led astray and not realize it until you hit that point where, wait a minute, this just doesn't make sense. You know, certain points do not truly make sense. You know, I remember the leadership asked us to give our understanding of a prophet and reincarnation. So I get the dictionary, and the dictionary gives that generic explanation. But the reincarnation explanation, whether it was in the secular or the religious dictionary, it didn't vary. You know, it didn't have any area where you like, well, maybe you could be reincarnated, maybe you can't, or you have to do this. No, you have to be born again physically, a whole new being that everyone else recognized. The whole cycle has to start over. So when I heard someone say the reincarnated prophet, the first thing I thought, that's not reincarnation, that is possession. I said, we watched movies, what was that, Linda Blair and, what was that movie? You remember? Well, it's an old movie, uh, Exodus.
Exodus. Oh, Exodus. Yeah,
She was possessed. So what you're saying is you have a prophet that couldn't wait to go back, to be sent back. He decided to take a body that's already fully grown and functioning, and he couldn't pick the better specimen to do this. So these are just two questions that we were asked. This is over 20 plus years ago, almost 30 years ago. But you remember these things because the teacher, the instructor, the guide is how much those individuals are in error in their thinking. Just like what Jesus was demonstrating about, as our governor said, on what's that, chapter 11?
chapter
12, yeah. It's the same demonstration. They're sitting there believing something because they were told and not really understanding. So what we say, we're here to break the cycle. That's why it's such a shock to many to hear the leadership. It ain't no harsh teaching. It's that the individual want what they want, and this doesn't fit their agenda. Therefore, we the enemy. So anyway, we open up, and we're going to turn over to our grand governors because, like I say, time does move very fast when we're trying to get certain points out. So we leave you as we came, but that's in peace and love and praises unto Allah Almighty. Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah. Islam.
Islam. Islam. Islam. We give praises to our Father God Allah for allowing us another opportunity to allow ourselves to be open for a jolt of spiritual words to lighten our hearts, to be open to a better understanding, approach to our own personal situations, and to be a better Muslim. There's one major, degree in when we talk about being a Muslim, that we seek to make things better than how we found it. And so when we see ourselves, when we approach certain situations, our duty is to make it better than how we absolutely seen it, how it came about. We are seeking enlightenment, and it's through these lessons that we gain a better perspective of our relationship with Allah. We give praises to Allah, the only one who's deserving of all our praises, all our adorations, the governor of the mighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. He loved us, so he gave us a gift in the noblest image of our prophet, who provided us a gift of understanding, not just in relations to our that was rewritten, narrative created to dumb us down, but our prophet gave us a connection to the beginning of our story. When we read religious texts, we shouldn't read it as though we're reading a story about someone else. It's our story. Our prophet is instigating our mind, because the mind never forgets. It's a reminder of our beginning. So when we talk about our beginning, we're talking about our story. When we read the demonstrations out of the Quran of Mecca, which is our Old Testament, when we read the demonstrations of the Bible, understanding what story is applicable to you, because there's two stories going on in the Bible. There's the story of the creation of man, and then there's the story of the manufactured defect of mankind. Understanding, are you the one that Allah breathed into, or was you formulated to appear to be the image of something. So once you have an understanding of the two creations, well, the one creation and the manufactured defect in the Bible, because I seen Chief stump a lot of Christian, I mean ministers, people that went to theology school, and they never seen it like that. It's plain and simple. It's plain. And it's only because when you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you can discern the teachings in a way to where it's applicable to make where it makes sense. And so we give praises to Allah for giving us a prophet that brought us these lessons that we can unfold them. And we camelback off the other honors given because Sheikh Jakata, we in one accord. But we extend honors to our leadership because without him, it wouldn't have been possible for any one of us in our community to sit and to articulate these lessons in a way to where we don't have to decipher or there is a conflict in the teachings because everyone is bringing their own perspective. Truth is but one. And if that is true in itself, then it's only but one understanding. Now, it may be explained differently in a way to where Chief gave me a beautiful lesson when I first started this journey. I would say, well, I don't feel I really own that lesson because I'm just repeating what you said. He says that's okay. It's like, you pay into the lesson till it becomes a part of you. So it's like a pink slip to a car, you keep paying into it, eventually you own it. And then you take that lesson and resonate it as it relates to your own journey, to things in your own life that now you can pull from. And now it becomes where you can demonstrate a lesson as though you're talking about a personal experience. That's when you know that lesson. We start off with belief, perhaps it's so. This is our faith, belief that we may know it, we may not know it, I don't know. But when you get to faith, you know without a doubt a contradiction. You can't be shook. It is. No one can shake you from that because you are fixed in that understanding. Because you're not only able to speak it with truth, you're able, as our teacher tells us, show me in the doctrine. Not just that paragraph, but show me where it connects to other truths. And that's when you know without a doubt. And he's very hard in his teaching method. That's why he made it possible for us to sit amongst anybody. I watch my teacher sit with heads of synagogues, the Sikh community, the Hindu community. When we do our interfaith measures, they was flabbergasted at his measure because he's Chicago. He gonna come with his degree of it, but it's like, man, I don't know to hug him or hit him. I mean, did he just take my lesson and what I thought it was and show me that I was incorrect? When I saw the people at the masjid, when our teacher broke down Surah 10, 47 to 49, and then went into that a prophet comes in the language of his people. I mean, he was going sewers. Chief was rattling the sewers like he was basically rattling off of phone numbers. That to me was priceless. And it was other people watching. We have a picture of that. The Baha community, they was like, it was other folks that was there. They was impressed. Who are you people? That's when we know that this is we on the right path and the right journey in this. I love Friday Holy Day service. We demonstrated the lesson with teacher and student out of one of our go-to books is The Essential of Sufism. We put the link up. All our members, y'all supposed to have this book because this is also, I think we pull from the lessons if you are in the Moorish Islamic Theocratic Institute. So sometimes some of the lessons may touch on certain parts of this book, but that is one of the many books that from the book list And if you need that book list, for those that don't have it, Minister Moab will put it up for you on the membership site. As it relates to teacher and student, we demonstrated in chapter 12 with Jesus was sitting with the Buddhist priests, right? It was a holy day. And how he had to get them out of their fixed understanding that they're not going to see heaven until they die. That's like the old spiritual Negro songs, you know. And all they do is just work and work, and they toil and happy, and the only thing they just hoping is to just make it into heaven. When heaven is not a place of meetings, man, we create our own heaven and hell. That was a beautiful lesson in terms of that demonstration, but also the teaching here in chapter 11 where Abrabo and Jesus, he came off the cuff, written off chapter 1, but reversed. It was like, you know, time was when man was not. And he was creeping little things and all this stuff. And I can imagine Jesus' face like, just letting him go. And then like, where you get that stuff? Just what the priest told me. Said, man knows not by being told. Man must be what he knows. Parable said. Understood that Jesus is a master teacher, but even Jesus recognized Barabbas' station. He said, aren't you a mastermind? And now, it's not to say that he didn't know the lesson. It could have been the fact that it was a misinterpretation of the lessons because of the priest was door popping. They didn't stop Jesus when he was demonstrating with a break, but they didn't come in and say, wait a minute, Jesus, that's my student. What are you doing? That's what we taught him. That's what we know. But they recognized Jesus of who he was, a master teacher. So they held fast to listen. All these are degrees in where we also have to use our intellect, because it's not going to play, the story's not going to play out like a script. It's going to give you the time stamp of what was said and what position they was in. But we can kind of assess based on other teachings the attitude, you know, the positions that was happening. Truth is but one. And so it's being consciously and religious detectives in regards to certain things that we have to put certain measures in to build out the story to where we can see the fullness of what is happening, because it's not going to give it to you. Sometimes it's pieces where you have to pull a puzzle together. Well, I got the edges now, let me fill in the middle. You know, but then I have to look at something don't fit right, and I can't bang it in. I can't cut it to fit this narrative, because the nature of truth is to be truth. But now I'm going to alter it so it can fit because I want it to fit. It ain't going to work, because it's going to throw off everything else. One of the other stories, teacher and student, which I love, is out of our Old Testament, Quran and Mecca. Moses, right? Moses and, well, it's supposed to be Melchizedek, but they didn't state the name as the wise one. Moses knew who he was, and he knew who Moses was, and he told him out the back, listen, you're going to see things and see me do things that you're going to question. I'm going to explain it to you, but don't ask me anything. Just watch. And when the story went, how many times did Moses interrupt when the wise man bust a hole in the boat and sunk the boat from the fishermen? You know, well, what are you doing? And so forth. He's like, I told you not to say nothing, you know? And the time where he busted the little boy's face, you know, not realizing all these acts and what the teacher was doing, because he already knew what was going to happen. Right. He lived this life before. So Moses didn't trust his teacher. It was a good lesson. What chapter is that?
That's 18.
Chapter Surah 18. Thank you. And so that demonstration was often when how history repeats itself, when I hear my teacher teaching someone want to question the teachings, but you wasn't there
Right.
when George Cook-Bay said that. It was,
Right.
we talk about
Right.
holy
Right.
breath transmission.
No.
My teacher said with those that was taught by the prophet.
Mm-hmm.
So there was things that was said that's not written in the Moorish literature, that most Moors don't even know how this came about. This was instigated by the reincarnated prophet.
Mm-hmm.
They took excerpts out of the Moorish Guide newspaper and just basically created a Moorish literature. Nothing wrong with it. But there's other articles that was in the Moorish Guide newspaper, as well as the Chicago Defender. It transitioned from Defender because they kept changing his words around and rewriting it. So he said, I'm gonna create my own paper. This way I control the narrative. And there's a lot. Chief has a lot of the old newspapers, but they're so old. They're like paper, potato chips. They crumble. We got to put it in plastic. I'm, with the gloves on. We just definitely got to take time to go and get one of them flat tables and put it in plastic to preserve it, the hard plastic. And but this is to say that when Chief explained how his teacher was telling him how to prostrate, and this is after he went through the chamber, because George Cook-Bay told our leader, I'm going to take you to as the prophet took, I'm going to show you how it's done. Now he just went through the chamber with all of it. So Chief was like saying, wait a minute. Then we just go through the chamber. You saying they didn't take us through the chamber, right? George Cook-Bay said, no. I'm going to show you how the prophet took us through the chamber. And that's what we have written in our book. We have the original book of the names of people that was there during the time of the prophet. The book in which the prophet held, where we put our adept names in. What was beautiful was the lesson into a Sufi story dealing with teacher and student. She jumped up. Grandfather, I know how to prostrate. George Cook-Bay said, all right, go ahead, show me how to do it. She started prostrating, but he was mimicking what the Arabs do, what the Sunnis do. Grandfather said, that's not how the prophet taught us how to do that. Our teacher, Sheikh Rasadi, he didn't stop and say, this is what I know. He didn't argue with it. He said, as soon as he said, that's not how the prophet taught me how to do that, what you gonna say? Other than shut your mouth, my bad, and go sit on the side and see it being done correctly. And so when we prostrate and when doing this past convention, when we was taking our newly adepts through the chamber, Chief had one of the most show how to prostrate the correct way. And it is a beautiful sacred measure in which we every member adept that has been in this group, and even those who have been with us, and when we prostrated in public, we show you according to how the prophet did it. My thing is, when you adjust yourself to what is right, then that's when you say, I'm going to adjust myself to what is right, to be right. Is the Muslims seek to be the first one to do the right thing, and always doing the right thing first, they can never go wrong. Once you know better, you do better. And it's an essence in when we do that. It's the time, because I asked Chief, I said, is it always, that late hour that we take people through the adept? He said, yes, that's how it was always done, even in ancient times. And this is something that the prophet did. And it's keeping to tradition. And the aspect of that tradition, folks want to change stuff and make it different. They want to add this and that. But here's the thing about tradition. Tradition preserves history. It preserves the integrity of what actually took place without you having to constantly repeat something over and over again, because the actual tradition, the actual ceremony and customs, the history is woven in all of that. When we take people through obligation, the obligation ceremonies. Our community, the first Moorish community to instigate the washing of the feet, wudu. Other communities mimic it, and that's fine. You know, imitation, what they said, flattery, imitation is the best form of flattery. Yeah, but we're washing the feet as a symbolism of preparing ourselves to step on holy ground, where the husband and wife, the brother and sister of the temple, are about to prostrate before Allah. It's to seal the aspect of the obligation. We had our obligations on video and so forth. Everyone thought it was absolutely beautiful. But it's all tied in tradition. Going across the Hadaran desert, right? We have the sand. We have different elements, the bitter and the sweet. It's elixir, Egyptian elixir. All these things are woven into a story of our history. Even when Chief did the Brotherhood, when we rented that beautiful cabin up in North Georgia Mountain, that cabin was absolutely breathtaking. The scenery was beautiful, and they had the rites of passage for one of the young sons that was there. But everyone, all the brothers that was there, got a chance to be exposed to the tradition, to be exposed to the holy breath transmuting throughout the whole sacred ceremony. And so all these things are needed. Customs don't alter the nature of truth. It preserves it. It preserves the meaning. It gives us that this is what we do. Our holy month, we see it now is being resonated in other communities, other Moorish communities, that October is being considered holy month. Beautiful. People are starting to actually see the relevance of it. October's been our holy month for eons. Since I joined the temple back in 2004, it's always been considered the holy month. It is a month not only of our Ramadan, but it's also the month of course, the Moorish convention. But in that month, all the wonderful things the Prophet did to solidify us, not only as a nation, but in our faith, in our dedication, in the Word. So all these, basically solidified it. It basically sealed the measure on this is what we do. So now it's so common. We have federal prisons where the inmates now, they want the chaplains want to write up on the Ramadan. We have inmates here saying that they part of the Moorish Science of America. They Ramadan every October. See, we make it easy. We ain't got to worry about the lunar calendar month and the change up is every October, from the 1st to the 31st. And so now the holy month of Ramadan, we created an affirmation for every day this past Ramadan. And we basically, Chief has me bridging it out to not only we incorporated surahs from the Old Testament, the Quran and Mecca, also our Circle 7, a certain prayer, but also build it out to basically make it that day of true conviction. And so it is with every effort being made that we was looking by next Ramadan, that book will be available for anyone. And that's a book we won't sell exclusively to, like we do now in our store, but make it available on Amazon or whatever, because it's basically us honoring our tradition. It's honoring what we do and how we do it and why we do it. And so I'm looking forward to that measure with everything else on our plate. It is it's a labor of love. And so the teacher and student, that is another aspect of Moorish American Sufi stories. How many the stories that Chief demonstrated? Everybody know about the story about him in the pool, almost drowning, right? And that's something he's reiterated so many times, but it's a story of don't trust those who ain't been on this path, that haven't got the full understanding. Because them junior lifeguards, though they was able to swim, they wasn't able to save him. So you have someone that may have the teachings, but they not in a position to be a leader, to be a guide, because they are still in that process of kind of learning for themselves. They get the lessons for themselves, but it was in when that moment when Chief was drowning and he was basically drowning the other two junior lifeguards with Clay Preston. I don't even know this man, but I know the name because we've heard the story a gazillion times. I'm actually trying to find Mr. Clay Preston. I don't know. Well, Chief was what, about 10?
Yeah.
Clay Preston was in his 30s.
20s.
About 20s. He'd be a whole cat by now.
Yeah.
I don't know. We just may have to just honor him. I don't know. Hey, he may be. I don't know. But anyway, we the story with Clay Preston jumping in, and the Chief said he felt him being lifted up and just taking him to the edge, and then picking Chief up and putting him on the edge of the pool after he almost drowned. And it was like, wow. And Clay Preston asked him, "You want to learn how to swim?" But Chief said, "Not today. I want to learn, but not today." And that was traumatic right now. I need to go home, think this through. I saw my life flashing before me. But he did come back. And Chief not only learned how to swim, he became the #1 lifeguard of the pool in Argyle Gardens. It's one of those stories. It's one of those Sufi stories that we definitely appreciate, because there's a lesson in that if you are in a position of someone who's an expert in their lessons, in their degree, then there's us humbling ourselves to become a student so we can now advance to that level of greatness. But it's being humble, stepping back and being a student. I've met so many people through this journey within the Moorish American diaspora that don't want to be students. That somehow that degree of student is too. I just want to go straight to the gusto. So, if you were someone that needed a triple bypass, and the cardiologist, he skipped certain classes because he just wanted to get his degree, and he skipped his residency because he just wanted to be an intern. He skipped all of the crucial things. You gonna have him work on you? Wait a minute, you wasn't a student? It's too much time in school. I got 33,000 hours of YouTube. I got it. I got you. You good. You good. My cousin, he used to work as an anesthetist. He got it. Got some stuff. Put you to sleep. You ain't gonna feel nothing. We got you. You be a zip damn fool. Just even have a conversation with someone like that. But to know that this person started off as a student and tarried in that position, because to become, to become a cardiologist, an oncologist, to become a neurosurgeon, these are expert in certain aspects of, they just honing in to that one of the human body. Not to say they don't know other little stuff, but that they are expert in that field of endeavors. And you trust them. Now, I got a knee replacement. I didn't ask my doctor, well, did you get a knee replacement so I know how you know this goes? But I trust in his measure after looking up who he was and his tenure in the field of replacing knees. He's been doing it for eons. He can do it with his eyes closed. And so, even in this journey, we need to be mindful of the lessons and how they're unfolding for us. This is a demonstration as we closed out our holy month, the renewal, the rekindling, the reconforming, the re-examining, the recommitment to ourselves, to our journey, to everything that we embrace that is right and correct. we know without a doubt a contradiction when we know and humble ourselves for Allah to lead us that we can't go wrong. Even when it doesn't look as though it's supposed to be a certain way, we have to trust the process. That's faith. Faith is I'm going to trust it irregardless. I can't taste it, see it, smell it, or hear it. I trust the fact that Allah is leading on because I'm stepping back and I'm submitting my will to Allah to give me the direction I need to work this out. But anytime we get impatient, anytime we feel that we ain't gonna wait on the law and we step out and do it and it don't work out, that's on you. That's when we talked about last lessons where sometimes Allah test us and so forth. Doesn't even make sense. Why would God test you? What type of God is going to put you through a whole bunch of craziness for what? Well, he already knows what you're going to do before you do it. Why would he need to test you for what? And so when I looked in deep in, because that was a perplexing situation. I used to hear, Christians always saying that. And even people in faith Islam, we're going to be through the test. We got to be put through the fire and it's all this stuff. I'm saying, well, why would God do that? And it was like a pin or a pebble in your shoe. It was just irritating, but it was there. And I said, I got to dig deeper in this. And it wasn't until I came into the temple. There's nowhere in our Quran, in our Circle 7 Quran, that speaks about Allah testing us. Jesus demonstrated that measure when he said that we create our what? We create our own heaven and hell. So you got into a situation where you financially strapped, or you made some decisions and taken up more than what you should have, and now you feeling the crush of that. That's you. You put yourself through that test because of the choices you made. That's why, as Muslims, we don't pray to Allah to remove any burden or any infliction upon us. That's selfish. That's saying Allah don't know what the hell he doing. That's like when you were 6 years old, you going to Mom, listen, I got the grocery list here. You need to get some bread. We out of milk and my shoes. I need shoes for school. And also, you going through a whole dissertation because your parents can't take care of you. They ain't seeing your needs. As a child, we didn't worry about anything. Our parents knew what we needed. My mother she had OCD personality. Very neat, very clean, very organized, and it was her way or no way. I learned a lot from that. Suffered a lot from that. But she had a system. We went to Sears, J.C. Penney's, Bloomingdale's, and it's another one, Macy's. Twice a year, she would get a set of clothes for the summertime and spring, like 10 pairs of jeans, 10 pairs of shorts, and all that. And periodically, she would buy other stuff in between the year, but she would make certain purchases, big giant purchases, where we go and get everything for that time to keep ahead of things. This is a woman that will organize and as a young girl, I used to see her iron the sheets. So her choice in doing those things as a child, and me seeing that, I never had to question where my meal is coming from because she's going to take care of it. If we know Allah is leading on and victory is assured, we already know what we are able to do. We ask Allah to give us the strength to endure because we know that even in our greatest struggles, we're going to find our greatest strength. We ask Allah to remove any impeding thoughts in our minds, and we can do that with positive self-talk because negative self-talk would keep you down. But the self-talk would definitely pull you into a mindset to where it will connect you with a greater sense of self and purpose. I got this. I know I got this. I know I'm going to do this. I love myself. Kiss yourself and hug yourself. Nobody's responsible for your happiness or your joy but you. So if you in the mix of going through something because someone didn't acknowledge or whatever, that's not their business. That's you. You acknowledge it. You take yourself out to dinner. You buy yourself some flowers or balloons. If somebody else adds to it, then that's beautiful. But if they don't, or it stops, it's not taking away anything that you haven't been already given yourself. So when we pray as Muslims in Sufi, from a Sufi perspective, we pray for Allah in giving praises and supplication to Him. Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. Just constantly just letting Him know how much we love Him. And just ask Allah to continue to strengthen our resolve. We find mercy in your care, Allah. We find guidance in you guiding us, Allah. It's just an affirmation to keep us centered, to know that Allah's will be done if we continue on the mustaqim and not veer. It is the prayer that we give ourselves to remind ourselves our purpose. Not for us to look for somehow Allah to alleviate some type of affliction that we caused on ourselves through the choices we made. And then someone say, well, Isis, I didn't make choices in my childhood and so forth. True enough, but as we know in Sufism, right, that sometimes we live our lives coming back to do this again for other things that we did. So for me to explain that to a client that gone through a lot is different. I have to choose my words from a clinical perspective because sometimes my spiritual nature kind of clashes in a sense. It kind of meets to where I gotta sit back and ponder how I'm going to approach this because I'm always going to be a Muslim first. But I have to understand that the language that I speak from spirit language, from a Sufetic perspective, that someone that's not on that journey ain't gonna get it. And then someone may be open to it, especially those who have been suffering, let's say from loss. I had clients suffering from great grief, heavy grief. And they would ask me, I don't, what is this? I'm feeling, Isis, I don't know. And I would ask them, what's your faith? And they would say they're Christians and so forth. I said, well, then you have to pull towards that for you to find comfort. She said, I can't find comfort in that because it don't make no sense to me. And then I was like, well, and I says, well, I'm not of the Christian faith. My faith is Islam. And so we look at life and death from a different perspective. She says, can you share that? Now, it's me being more transparent because this client is now asking me to share a part of myself. It's part of her healing. My mentor told me always put my faith in front of the journey when helping another person. So this was an opportunity. Not for me trying to proselytize or trying to dumb down her faith to make mine look better, but just to share that death is no enemy. Is part of a transitioning. And I said that the people that are no longer here, we honor them by us living our best lives. We honor them by smiling. And that, it will be time where that tear will drop and will meet the crease of the curl of a smile. But it is how we process the fact that they're no longer here. We have to create a different relationship with them and within the heart of the mind. I said I can sit and talk with my mother anytime I choose to. It's through meditation. And it's deep meditation where I can create any scenario that is comforting, that is remembering. It can be a bench that is overlooking a lake where you hear the faint sounds of children playing from a nearby playground, couples walking their dog. You hear nature in full blossom, the birds singing and the wind is blowing. And I'm sitting there on the bench feeling and smelling every essence of what I'm seeing here, because thought is the cause of it all. So I'm creating an element in a conversation that I need to have to bring me comfort. And then out of nowhere, I see my mother come up from around the tree and sit next to me. And I don't have to say any words because my heart speaks. For her to grab my hand and me just to lay my head on her shoulder, that's a connection that I can constantly relive over and over again. And if there was words that needed to be said, I can speak those with my heart. Because the mind never forgets. And when we meditate, we literally cross the borderline at will, understanding the process of that. See, when we transition, and this is from a Moorish American perspective, the teachings of our prophet, the Sufi, we transition this to what? The physical plane, right? The touch smell. This is where everything is kind of divided. You got the male and the female. Mm-hmm. But when we transition and go on the planes of soul, mm-hmm. and then from the planes of soul, we transition to the final plane, which is the spiritual plane. Mm-hmm. But in the essence of our faith and how we demonstrate, we are always supposed to be in a mindset of spirituality. Mm-hmm. There is no male or female. Mm-hmm. There just is. In our Quran, where it talks about man is mind, right? And mind may resonate in male or female. A lot of Moorish, when I first heard that, I wasn't in this temple. But the way they was explaining it didn't make no sense. Then they went into some type of feminism and all. I'm like, mm-hmm. don't meet up. And then I started questioning my own mental capacity that it must be me. I must got some serious issue because I'm not getting this. And they all seem like they getting it, but as hindsight is 2020, they was just masking the very thing they couldn't even explain for themselves. Mm. So they cover up, it's like bad food, and people put a lot of seasoning on it, spices and sauces to cover it up. Mm-hmm. But it's still in there. Mm-hmm. And so once I got it that, wow, wait a minute, mind never forgets. When we teach from the point of spiritual, right? Spirituality. That when we look at the things of flesh, we pull ourselves back to look at it from a spiritual eye. That's why we say it's too fine for our fleshy eyes to see. But when you have eyes to see, you can see and hear, but it's not the flesh. From the physical standpoint, we're talking about the spiritual. So when we demonstrate faith, we come in always from the spiritual nature of that. It's never male or female. It's just the one. The essence of being. That is the true essence of our faith. It's the one faith, the one true faith. There's no separation in that. And so, as my teacher comes and we get ready to close out this measure, remember that when you demonstrate and when you take on the lessons, your prayers and so forth, pray with an open heart of thanksgiving. Pray with a measure of remembrance to yourself. Give yourself that thought, you got this. Allah is all the glory, because this way it will create an element of strength for you to get through one of the hardest and most serious of feats in your life, knowing that this too shall pass. Mm-hmm. You won't feel like a failure. But it's nobody's responsibility to talk that into you but you. So it's the conversations you have with yourself that's going to reveal your actions. If you want to know what a person is thinking, look at what they're doing. I'll close with that and turn it over to my teacher. Islam, Islam, Islam. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Bismillah,
Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah.
Get out the seat.
I'm getting out the hot seat.
Islam, 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 arise in perfect praises to Allah, the God of the universe, the Father of us all. I also want to give high honors to Allah and the person manifested through our holy prophet, Joel, this day, yesterday, and days yet to come. Islam, Islam, Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah. Ah, they say today Sunday school. And how did Sunday school come to guide us in your nation? So I was upstairs just doing my thing. And while doing my thing, you know, I watch a lot of other videos. I got all types of videos up there from Moors that I actually watch, and I be trying to figure out what the heck. Now, this particularly, I'm looking at brothers, and they say, we know Moors ain't together, Moors ain't this, and then I got these other people call themselves more something, more to the lie, more to this, more this. I'm like, okay. Well, how many Moors? You can't tell me the 5 kings after such and such. And I said, you can't tell me the name of one Caucasian that came out the cave. And you, master of history. You ask me about history like you know every damn thing. Well, tell me, name me 5 Caucasians that come out the Caucasus Mountains. See, y'all got all the history. Every time I turn around, y'all altering history. So if y'all altering history like they got black people talking, oh, Black History Month, we gotta have a Black History Month. Then the Moors, the reason why the prophet ain't in Black History because he ain't black. I wish sometimes somebody just come up there and shoot him in their head. You should be shot in your damn head. I was in Chicago. I was with Braswell Bay and them at the time, and P. Davis Hill, and wait one second, I just dropped my earpiece. Oh, you see my earpiece down here? Anyway, now I fell over here. It's not over there. It's over here. Somewhere over here, I do believe. I got it. So anyway, so I'm arguing with them. This is during the time that Minister Farrakhan finna march on Washington. The million-man march. Million black people up here. Oh, I don't know why he doing that. He said he came to talk. I said, why would anybody come talk to you, Belly Hill? Why would anybody come talk to you, P. Davis Hill? Why would anybody come talk to you, Braswell Bay? Well, y'all ain't done a damn thing. I was in Chicago. I'm born and raised in Chicago. Let me tell you, we was talking about Blackstone and disciples, stacking them up. Your children was flying 6-pointed stars. Where the more at? So now, let's just look at it. It says 98 years now, right? So 98 years, what come out your house? Now, you was here with the prophet. Your daddy was here with the prophet. But ain't none of y'all in the temple. I was just watching a brother on the tape. I don't know why he sent me the tape. Anyway, he on tape, and he got this AR-15 gun. He used to be a sheep. I said he used to be a sheep. Now the reason it's bad because he still got bail ill on his name. So he's doing all this in front of the government. They act like the government don't see this. You keep acting dumb like the government's not in your organization. The government is not in your organization. The government is listening to you at nighttime. This is never off. Go in the store. You can go in the store, go from one aisle to another, just stop long enough. And I bet you have somebody on here send you something about that product. How do they know? This tells them. I mean, I be on here, stuff show up that I looked at. Wait a minute, how in the hell does it get on here? They call it algorithm. You order something, they go down the whole thing. But there was a brother, a Moor, that talked about this back in the 90s, the late 80s, by the name of Nakeem Bey. And Nakeem Bey was showing that he went to the library, ordered certain books, and then he came back one day to get a book, and guess what? The people there said, you don't usually get this type. Why you studying this book? He said, damn, how y'all know what I'm getting? Do you know they got a record of everything you take out? But you never put nothing in. See, this thing, you keep telling me about Sunday school. I'm looking at these brothers, yeah, out of Sunday school guidance, but ain't no like guidance come out your nation. Where they at? They can't explain a damn thing. Boy, you live back here. I'm like, so I'm watching this video today. This is about the Nation of Islam and some Moors. and some people in the audience. Matter of fact, I'll tell you exactly who it was. It was done under Imam Suwaid. That was my guy, because he's still my guy. He's a Muslim, Sunni Muslim, Wallace D. Camp. And so they had this thing that around the table, and they had all these people, and they had these Moors up there. Now the Moor had under his name, his title was Imam Hopkins-Bey. I said, Imam? The nigga told me he was a divine minister. His daddy told me he was a divine minister. But he on this show, he's an imam. So I'm looking for, I'm looking at him like, oh, okay, brother. Let me see what you're going to say. Because I know sooner or later they're going to come to the crowd and say, I heard no what you all that Elijah Muhammad was in the temple. I know that's coming up. See, I know that's coming up. So I'm just waiting, watching it. Then he come up, the woman in the audience, and say, I have a question. What's your question, sister? My question is, I heard that Elijah Muhammad was once a member of the Nation of Islam. Now at this meeting, there's this brother by the name of Wesley Muhammad. Hand me a bottle of water, I'm sure what he did. Now Wesley Muhammad is up there, and so they asked the question, was Elijah Muhammad part of the Moorish Temple of America? So the first person to answer is Wesley Muhammad. Wesley Muhammad drinking water. He's looking like this. He's looking at the brother like, I'll cut your throat, you say something. And then he said, A. Hopkins-Bey says this. He's a grand governor in the Moorish Temple, divine minister, Mufti, all that other dumb stuff. He said this. Well, we have no proof that the prophet, that he was a minister in the Moorish Temple, that he was anybody. And I'm like, but they did. One time they had fezzes on their head. And I'm like, if I could just reach. He'd been choked on stage. He'd been, whatever I did. Talking about the same thing. And his daddy said Elijah Muhammad used to be in the temple. The man daddy taught this. Now the son get up in front of everybody, he gets scared. How in the hell you talking about you got leadership coming out of Sunday school when the guy too scared to talk in front of somebody? He pissing on himself. The man peeing on himself. Now the guy is a national spokesman for Jones Bay, and my failed student, Sharif, he up there, he the spokesman, and I'm like, this nigga here said the prophet ain't perfect, and he can prove it. He called me, Brother Raheel, why are you attacking me? I ain't said nothing. I said, didn't you say my prophet ain't perfect? Well, I can prove that. So who are you attacking? If you say the prophet ain't perfect, who are you attacking? His character. So if you're attacking my prophet character, I want to choke you too. I'm not ashamed to say that. I think that, now, see if it stopped over there, man. I froze over here.
Oh, that's just it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like,
Okay. So, I'm like, all right. You still see me on the other side talking to me? Okay. So I'm like, okay, all right. Look at, how can you tell the world out of your Sunday school to guide us a nation, you got fools up there talking. A man too scared to tell the truth. I'm going to pull it right now. Look what I got. What's this? Message to the black man. Who is back? Elijah Muhammad. Here go my book. My book called The Controversy Years. Ooh. Now, let me pull out some stuff. This is what Elijah Muhammad say in this book. Page 213. It says, message to the black man, persecution of the righteous. Message to the black man, persecution of the righteous. Let's see what Elijah Muhammad say. On page 213. I'm going to start the second paragraph. This was the cause of the attack of the time, and Allah was with us, and we have been peaceful there all the while. However, it was said after the battle with my father, who had nothing to fight with but their hand, that there was hospitalization on both sides. Paragraph 3. There was no loss of lives on the side of the Muslim not having a gun was fired by them. The lieutenant plus the lieutenant of police, the captain and commissioner of police had warned them not to use firearms against us because we were not armed. This was true. But the battle was over. There were more of them hospitalized than any of us. Okay. Now we get to my point. Ooh. 1 year later, here in Chicago, Illinois, in the police department on 11th and State Street, which is downtown at the time, there was a complaint made against one of my fathers concerning his children going to our school, the University of Islam. As the courtroom began to fill with spectators, two court deputies showed disrespect for Muslim women. They started pushing them around, and the Muslim brothers resented this harsh treatment of the women. The police officer then began beating the men, and almost within seconds, the whole entire courtroom was in confusion and the fight. When the battle was over, police captain lay dead from a heart attack, and others were wounded by their own weapon fire. They opened fire upon my father point blank in the courtroom because of their Muslim seeking justice in the charge made against us at our school in Detroit the previous year. Now it says previously. Now you get down into the bottom and skip a paragraph. This says this is when they made the charge of contributing to the delinquents of minor. This record are in Chicago to this date. Anyone to read. Now 1 year later, 1934. 1 year later. What happened in 1934? 1 year later.
Rules and regulations.
No. See if you see it over there, Mom.
No. Yes, no.
Okay. Now this says battle in court. Person badly hurt. It says started to drive on reefer evil. But it says the title is convict 40 more in the courtroom. Wait a minute. Chicago defenders say there were 40 more in the courtroom. 40, not Muslims, not the Nation of Islam, 40 more. What was the prophet established at? In Chicago, right?
Chicago's right.
So the newspaper that carried his death and everything should know what a more is, right? So the newspaper, Chicago defender, said what happened in the courtroom was 40 more. Ooh, wait a minute, I'm getting a headache from all this truth coming out of it at one time. So 40 more in courtroom. Now, there's other evidence I have across, I got to pull it all together, but I'm putting in the book about Elijah and the Moor side to America, where Elijah says Sister Ali was one of his most dedicated sisters. Sister Mary Ali, that's what he said, one of his most dedicated sisters. Wait a minute, how did she get the name Ali? Her name was Sister Mary Ali. They even got her in the police. I got pictures of her in the police lineup. It showed 4 women up there. Then they got in the middle, Sister Mary Ali. And he said this is one of his brothers. Wait a minute. I thought they had exes.
Right.
Malcolm was not Malcolm Ali, was it? He wasn't Malcolm Muhammad. He was Malcolm what? X. I come up in Chicago. They all had exes. X13, X14, X85. XXXXX triple X. But all of a sudden, this is back in their 30s. That they got, information. Pull it down for a moment.
5 years after the fire.
All right here. I'm show you something else. Y'all think the final call just came out. Look at that. Oh, shit. Now see that? This final call been out. This is published weekly by Elijah Muhammad, Minister of Islam in North America, Detroit, Michigan, August 25th, 1934. This is before he even came to Chicago. And ain't nobody got X on their name. Put that back up there. Oh, Brother Raheel, Brother Raheel. This is too much coming out of Sunday school. This is too much knowledge. Oh, wait a minute, let me go. Now, we go on your questionnaire. It says key 60. Who will be taking the Holy City today to keep the unbelievers away? Am I correct? Let me just see if I got something like that. What my Quran say? Because people gonna be doubting me because it's Raheel talking. So since I'm talking, people gonna be doubting what I'm saying. Let me see. Let me get my stuff out. Somebody read key 60. Tell me what it says.
Who is God in the holy city of Mecca today to keep unbelievers away?
You say what?
Who is God in the holy city of Mecca today to keep unbelievers away?
It can't be that, Mo. It can't be that. Because this is what Elijah Muhammad say. Can a black man be a true Mason? And this is what he said. Our brother Musa, or Moses, had a hard job civilizing them, talking to the men in the cave. Make no mistake about it. The only place Musa or Moses delivered anybody from was from the caves and hillsides of Europe. When I asked that guy, name me 5 Europeans that come out, he couldn't tell me. But this is Elijah Muhammad even talking like I'm talking. And it says, those of you so-called good, you black, good account that Moses, or Musa or Moses, gave to us, while civilizing them in Surah, or the chapter called the cave. That's Surah 18. So Surah 18. Okay. Now, then he says the Bible also gives to us a Genesis. There in Genesis, therein an angel was placed at the east gate with a flaming sword, of which, now check what Elijah said, of which the angel was actually a Moor. Wait a minute. Elijah Muhammad say the actual angel in the garden was a Moor. You got all these Moors trying to imitate Muslims now. Look at that. They run around trying to imitate Muslims. Next month they're going to be doing the Muslim Ramadan. They won't do our Ramadan. We teach about the Prophet. But they're going to do the Muslim Ramadan. You ain't going to do our Ramadans in October. You're going to do the Muslim Ramadan. But what Elijah say? Elijah says, the Bible also gives to us in Genesis, when the angel was placed at the east gate with a flaming sword, of which that angel was actually a Moor who was a righteous Muslim. Now, open up y'all Bibles to Genesis 3, verse 23 and 24, and tell me, is Elijah lying here? Elijah said it. Okay, my man, you can get back up here, man. Come on. Come on. Somebody read that. Genesis 3, verse 23 through 24.
Therefore, the Lord God sent his forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from the whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
Wait. Don't do it. I wear it on my neck. The sign that Elijah's talking about. My sword go every which way. Up your booty, down your booty, across your head, by your neck, cut your tongue out. Let me see what else Elijah say here. He said, these Moors were posted at the foot of Europe so that the devil could not re-enter. Tell me what the prophet said again, brother. Key 60. What the prophet say again?
60.
Yeah. What the prophet say again?
He said, "Who is God in the holy city of Mecca today to keep unbelievers away?"
Who is it?
Angels.
Angels, right? Who did Elijah say the angels were? Moors. Even Elijah Muhammad got the teachings of the prophet Noble Drew Ali. How did he get the teachings of Noble Drew Ali if he didn't study it? Masrad was from India and Arabia. And I met him. I talked to him twice. He died 2002 in Concord, Illinois. You can go to the Mosque Jed of, I forgot what street is on. In Oakland, you can go there and see a picture on the wall with Minister Imam Wazdi getting married again, and standing in the crowd is the same guy who Wazdi Muhammad said was Master Muhammad, but he came back under the new name, Master Adullah. I talked to that man twice. Now, so as I sit up here reading this, and the brother verified, the prophet said, "Who is God in the holy city of Mecca day to keep them believing?" Where's the holy city at? Where the Moors at? First you got to get situated. Where is the Moors at in this picture? We in what? Morocco, right? Where's Morocco seated at? At the foot of Europe. Europe is coming down like this, Morocco like this. So he's saying the Moors here was to keep them Europeans out of Africa. But we got so mad and we went into Africa. We left Africa and went in and conquered. 1117, we conquered what? Spain. We went all the way up there, we got turned around, we got to France. Is this coming out of your Sunday school? Let me ask y'all watching this. Is this sad to teach y'all in y'all Sunday school? This was coming out, right? right. Because Elijah said these angels were more righteous, more, not ill righteous. Oh, this is out my bag. This is like my Felix the cat bag. Ain't no telling what I might pull out here on you. Messing with me. Ain't that something? The prophet, Noble Drew Ali, has given us everything we need to be successful. To go out into the world and teach. Now this book here, this is one of my new books coming out. Do you know, man? This book here is called Law Governs All Events. And in this book is nothing but laws. Supreme laws, all the laws. I'm gonna have the Queen Mother scan this so we can put this on the internet for our members. But it deals with the laws, you know, and also deals with your creativity. You sitting back and thinking, why do we have a problem? See. And the catch is, what are you doing in Sunday school other than repeating what you learned? I done been to so many schools. You know what they learn? Who made you? Allah. Who is Allah, Father of the universe? Can we see him? No, we're near a place we see him in the heart. Who is Noble Drew? He's Allah's prophet. What is a prophet? Thought of Allah manifest flesh. What is duty prophet? Save nations from the wrath of Allah. We go through the whole. I remember I went to Jackson Bay Temple in 90-something. I said, Jackson Bay, I'm tired. He said, what? I said, I come here and see you, and you teaching me the same thing like I ain't no more. Everybody in here Moors.
National.
You teaching national. Everybody in the damn temple is a Mo. Your mama's a Mo. Your wife is a Mo. The cat is a Mo. The dog is a Mo. The roach is a Mo. Who you teaching nationality for? Everybody, your pictures are Mo. You breathing in and out. Like this brother came in one day. And a bunch of these brothers, when Jackson Bay came to the temple, he came to that temple and whole lot, about 10 other brothers come here. They didn't come here when he wasn't here. They come here with Jackson Bay here. Like all of a sudden Jackson Bay. So we sitting in the temple. So they started jumping up saying all this dumb, stupid stuff. So I put the divine constitution battle on my head. I said, now, you can't get around this. You can't talk to me. Well, you know, Hurt Revised Statute, Black's Law Dictionary, number 4, over in Spain. I said, Negroes, I don't live in Spain. Why you tell me about Spain? I don't eat hot tamales. I'm not in Mexico. Why you keep telling me about what they're doing in Spain? They're not doing it here. And here we got a prophet. Why you think you got a prophet? What you think a prophet come and teach you about somebody else's stuff? Prophet Noble Johnny did not come and teach you how to be an Arab. But y'all want to be Arabs. Why is that? Your prophet did not tell you that you should be an Arab. Matter of fact, the old Moors are against that. They were strictly against it because the prophet was against that. Just like I taught my brother Hoskin Bey. When they opened up for him to speak, he's Assalamu alaikum, Hotep, how's your mama doing? Can I shake hands with your daddy? Hoorah, hoorah. Then he said Islam at the end. I mean, he honored everybody in the room, but he started off disrespecting his prophet. How you put somebody before your prophet? How you put somebody before your God? Yeah, all the time more say, you know what you said, this, know what you said. Who in the hell know 5 of them?
One of them called you and cursed you out.
Oh, yeah. Say that again, Queen Mother.
One of them called you and cursed you out.
I forgot about that one. I didn't meet him, though. He called me. We upstairs, me and Isis, we studying and stuff. I get this call. Ring, ring. So I answer the phone. I say, Islam, Mo. I got some questions. Well, I'm not afraid of questions. I'm not like everybody. I'm not afraid of questions. Come on. Well, I was told to ask around to see. I said, you was told to ask around? Yes, I was told to ask around to see what's going on with the different temples and stuff. I said, sir, who told you to ask them type of questions? Oh, the prophet. I said, the prophet? He said, yes. I said, you said the prophet? He said, yeah. What prophet? Prophet Noble Ali, sir. I said, he told you to call around and ask Moors, the leaders, what's going on with the temple. He said, yes. And I'm listening to somebody talking in the background, right? I said, who's that talking to you? He said, that's the prophet, Mo. I said, that's the prophet in the back talking to you? And I'm thinking, the prophet died July 20th, 1929. This guy said he the prophet in the 2000s. I said, can I speak to him? Now, I get my voice in it. Can I speak to him? Is it possible? Can I speak to this prophet? Yes, bro. So the prophet get on the phone. So I'm talking to him. He said, I said, prophet, you the real prophet. Yes, I'm Prophet Noble Ali, prophet. I said, okay. I said, well, why can I help you? I'm calling around to see what's going on with the movement. I said, God didn't tell you, Allah didn't tell you what's going on? You black motherfucker. I mean, he started calling me a black motherfucker, cursing me out. I said, the prophet cursing me out, calling me a black motherfucker and stuff. Yeah, so he hurt my feelings. He hung up on me. I said, baby, the prophet just called me a bunch of black. He went to niggerism. This is the Noble Jew Ali that's a nigga. He called me all types of mothers. And I was like, I had to take the phone away from me. What the hell? You black motherfucker? I'm like, and Allah didn't tell you not to curse? You know? So he hung the phone up on me. Then I had a person call me. He was Noble Jew Ali's grandson. Remember that one, Isis? Now his father was the child, the illegitimate child of the prophet. His name was Shabazz Ali. I said, if my prophet is named Drew Ali, why would you take the name Shabazz when Shabazz comes from Elijah Muhammad and he got it from Shabal, the tribe of Shabal out of India? So I'm thinking, so I said, he said, you know, my father, I said, I'll tell you what, have your father and y'all call him. We do a conference call. We did a conference call. He called. And he got to tell me. I said, well, what happened? No, what happened with the prophet? Well, the prophet used to sneak, and I checked, the prophet used to sneak from New Orleans on the train, ride down and be with my mama.
What?
You don't remember that? We should should have it recorded somewhere. And I'm like, you saying my prophet got on the train, rode down to where your mama is, had sex with her, then left. He did this often until she got pregnant. Then the prophet stopped visiting her. So I brought the question, brother, you don't talk to my daddy like that. I said, I talk to any nigga like this. I said, I talk to anybody lying on my prophet, I talk like this. I ain't them other Moors. I'm going to let you know. Stop, halt. So, he ain't talk to him no more. But his daddy's name was Shabazz Ali. And I'm trying to figure out, if you following the prophet, how your mama named you Shabazz? Wasn't no Shabazz around. See, when the prophet, wasn't nobody called him Shabazz because Elijah Muhammad was in the temple. He ain't discovered Shabazz yet. So I'm like, wow. We had a lot of strange calls. You know, people trying to defend their positions. And what they're really doing is defending our position. Because you give me a chance to tell you hell no. So you give me a personal thing to say hell no, brother. That ain't what the prophet wrote. So the guy got mad because I talked to his daddy. I said, I'm grown as your damn daddy. Your daddy might be 4 or 5 years older than me, or 10 years older. That don't make him keep him from being stupid. That's the first person I met that said he was a child of the prophet. And his name wasn't even Drew Ali. His name was Shabazz Ali. So I look at things and I'm like, okay, all right. So what's coming out of your Sunday school? I asked this question because what I see on the internet, listen, if I didn't love the prophet and Allah, I'll leave this alone. Because y'all make it look bad. Y'all make this look sicky. I mean, I look at all these Moors. They claim to be Moors, and I said, trace yourself. I had to stop saying that. I had to stop saying that. Like Tahaka been up there for the last 2-3 years, proving everybody wrong. Well, now the catch is, I'm the only one he ain't said talk with, face to face. He invited me on his show. He kissed my butt all through. I had to clean his butt after being on the Taka Bay talk show. My butt was clean. That man licked my butt clean. I had no raisins or nothing. As he cleaned my butt. But then afterwards, because I would not accept a sister in our temple that was a hoe, hoeing around with all these different men, I would not accept it. I put out the temple. I even lost the temple behind it. Well, you gonna put her out, I'm gonna go, bah! You gonna follow her? A hoe? Somebody you know sleeping around in Syracuse, New York. Somebody that's sleeping around the sisters in Alabama, the sister in Virginia, the sister, the thing that got me, she was even in Chicago with a mo. I hooked them up because me and Ken, you talked about it, because it was one of his members and my female men. I said, let's talk, let's set up a thing. But both of us said to people they can talk. You have to talk to me, talk to them. So then what? Now the lie that Tahaka told me to get me on the show. I said, Tahaka, what temple are you in? I'm under Brother Supreme Grand Sheik P. Davis Hill. I mean Billy Hill, and my grand governor is Edward Hill. I said, okay, I'll come on your show, cause I want you to establish something so I can hold you to it. Then I talked to Edward Hill. Finally, Edward Hill told me he left here last year. He ain't been here since the convention. I said, how come you couldn't tell me? I thought you knew. I said, but I asked you. I asked you before I went on the show. Why I have to sit up here and wait for you to give me an answer about somebody to say he's under your leadership? Because this is also asked. The brother told the sister that he was interested. He told me first that he was interested in Sister Robin. So I called the sister in New York. Said, listen, he want to know if he could talk to Sister Robin. He got eyes on her and stuff. I didn't say nothing bad. I said, go ahead, let y'all sit up there and counsel them. But I'm like, but Robin talking to the brother in Chicago. So I'm like trying to figure it out. So I get this thing from Tahaka. Tahaka say, well, Brother Rael, I want Brother Hopkins Bay to counsel me and the sister. I said, Hopkins Bay? He's not part of neither body. I said, because I asked him, won't you have Belial and Edwardiel counsel you for your side? And I had a sister and a brother up there counsel you. Counsel the sister. Well, Belial and the brother ain't married. Now this is what he tell me. He tell me Belial ain't married, which I knew he wasn't. And he told me that Edwardiel ain't married to the sister either. He's just sleeping around. So I said, okay, bro. I said, but let me ask you a question. He said, what's that, brother? I said, aren't they your teachers? You told me that Belial is your supreme grand chief, and you told me that Edwardiel is your supreme grand governor. He said, yeah. I said, they can teach you. If they can teach you about God, they can teach you about relationships. Well, they ain't married. I said, okay. And he's still not married to that sister. Him and Sister Robin ain't married. I don't even know if they're still together, but they ain't married. So I was like, wow. And more support that. More support brothers that can't stand up under the pressure of the truth. So I have to ask myself, why do we have laws if you're not going to follow them? You know, why are you going to have laws that you don't follow? Needs you first more. The first person say, law coming out of it, brother. Law. But you ain't following the law. Oh, I just follow this particular law because I like it. Right. What about that law? I don't like that law. That law seems harsh. Okay. You gonna pick and choose the word of God. Think about that. But every year, like I said, I'm just sitting up there for the last hour watching videos saying law governs all events. Out of your Sunday school come the guidance of the nation. And if we got guidance of the nation, why are we so butt backwards? And that's the question. If everybody for 98 years got guidance of the nation, but in your grand body, y'all talking 12 different things. You can go one grand body, get all the people together and talk to them. They're going to tell you 20 different things. And ain't but 5 of them in the body. Ain't but 5 people there, but they're going to tell you 20 different things. Wait a minute. I thought Allah was one. Everything that comes from Allah is one. The prophet brought us unity. The prophet said, chapter 27, verse 14, verse 12, I think it is. Let me see, where's mine? Verse 12. Chapter 14, chapter 47, verse 12, I do believe it is. And it says, let me see what it says, or y'all be mad at me. Chapter 12. These holy and divine laws of the prophet, Noble Joali, the founder of the Uniting of the Moorish Temple of America. These holy and divine laws are from the prophet, Noble Joali, the founder of the Uniting of the Moorish Temple of America. Right? So I come back following the laws. That's because ain't nobody following the law. Law don't govern all events. Lies do. If you slick and clever, you can tell a quick lie. Toilet paper don't get wet when you put it in the toilet. Brother. Toilet paper don't get wet when you put it in the toilet. It's the doo-doo that it absorbs. Okay.
That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah. Brother, I ain't wet because I walk between the drops of the rain. So you got to be able to walk through the drops of the rain. I heard this one, the ISIS took me over to his sister's house. Her, the woman that was teaching ISIS. I sat up there, listen, Moses. I just sat there. Then ISIS, your mother Gladys. I couldn't even argue with her. She said, yes, you know, the children talk to me, they tell me from the planet. What the planet she said they was from? Venus?
No, she was dealing with the Anunnakis, the Star Series.
Yeah, Anunnaki. These children from Anunnaki Star Series, they couldn't talk to their mom. They talked to her because she understood. And I was listening to her. I said, I'm not going to mess with that. My mama said, the only person debate with a fool is a fool. I'm not a fool. And I listen, don't nobody know nothing about the Moorish. I know more about anything. I know the whole history and stuff. I'm looking at the stuff she got. I'm like, you on some hallucinated stuff. You done took some of what you call it, the Payu or whatever the Indians had. But you didn't have nobody to guide. See, Indians, when they took their peyote, they had people to guide them along in their imagination. This is why people that did acid and stuff, other people would start throwing stuff to get you on this path. And I was like, we left, I said, you didn't say nothing. I said, what can I say?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad the sister gave you a questionnaire and divine constitution bylaw and a Quran. I'm glad she gave you that. But the other stuff, and then we met her in the store. We was at the store, Walmart, with some more Moors. We had a little event down here in 2006. And she was in the line. Said, oh, y'all with Sister Isis? That was my best student. I said, uh-huh. 98 years. And y'all can't even settle on what brings people together. You follow people that don't follow the prophet. You know, so I came up this scenario, this issue, where I contemplated my frame. Let me take a sip of this water. Well, my frame. So I sit like this on my chair, and I have the Sufi music on, and my dogs be running around, and sometimes they lay up on me. I just be in my chair like this, contemplating my frame, contemplating, hearing la la Bismillah, la la illallah, la la Bismillah, la la illallah, going with that rhythm, that flow. And I'm just thinking and contemplating. And then I say, Brother Rael, to myself, I say, now these other brothers don't want to talk to these other brothers because those brothers have 5 different prophets, which is outstandingly wicked. They have 5 different prophets, so that's outstandingly wicked. But now the brothers I'm trying to talk to, they don't follow the prophet. So now they don't follow the prophet. I'm in a dilemma. How can I deny one and deny the other? Deny one and accept the other, when both of them are equally as wrong. Because I used to ask this all the time, trace yourself back to the prophet. Let me see, where did I get that from so y'all can see that? Let's go to Jesus and Barabbas. We're going to Jesus and Barabbas. Now, this is a deep lesson when you get to Jesus and Barabbas. This lesson here, chapter 11. It says, amongst the Buddhist priests was one who saw lawfully wisdom in the words that Jesus spoke. It was Barabbas or Barabbo. Together, Jesus and Barabbas read the Jewish poems, prophets, read the Vedics and the Vedics and wisdom of Gama. Now, this is the thing. Jesus, by verse 9, Jesus got tired of hearing all this stuff. 9 verses later, Jesus said, Barabbas, who taught you this? That man, which is man, may manifest in the flesh of bird or creep or beast or bird or creeping thing. So I began to ask, I said, can you trace yourself? Trace yourself back to the prophet. Now the Negro that asked me, they challenged me this week about that. I said, okay, brother. On the back of my nationality card was the name G. Cookbay, George Cookbay. On the back of George Cookbay nationality card, which means back then you had to say who gave you your card. So back then, the prophet signed George Cookbay card. He signed my card. That's my descendant nature. My descendant nature adeptly. That means I went through the chamber and I was taught the things that George Cookbay was taught in the chamber by the prophet to the best of his ability, to the best of my ability to learn, and the prophet. So I say, who taught you? Most nationality cards don't have no names on the back of them. Because don't nobody want you to know who you learn from. Plus the fact, the person that you sitting listening to ain't been a member. It's like Tahaka. Me and the brother was arguing about Tahaka. And I told him, when Tahaka left Bel-Air, even though Bel-Air was filed, Belle was a practicing homosexual. I've been knowing Belle since I was 27. I'm now 74. How many years is that? That's a long time, man. That's 52 years. Over 52 years I've known Belle. I had never known Belle to talk about a woman. I heard him talk against women. I can bet you that. Me and my wife were sitting in his house. And we sitting together, and my wife was leaning on me. You know how women lean on their man. This is mine. I own him. This is my Negro. So I was leaning on my shoulder and stuff. Belle was sitting right there. We in his house. Belle said, Brother Ryu, I don't even know how you could do that. I'm trying to figure, what the hell you talking about? How I do what? You know, I'm trying to figure, now I'm in my mindset, how I do what? Belle, what you talking about? How you let your wife lean on you like that? I said, what? He said, I can't stand for a woman leaning on me. I said, what? He said, his exact words, he said, when I worked at the post office, I was a supervisor. Me and another supervisor, we went over there and rented a room on that boat when he gambled at. I said, okay. He said, we had to share a room. We laid in the bed. She touched me. When she touched me, I said, I don't like no fish touching me. So you don't like fish touching you? Okay, that's gay as hell. I don't know, no man told me he don't like fish touching me. I'm from Chicago. That's what they call it. I don't like fish. 2 snaps in a crack. And he said that. My wife right there. Did he say it, baby?
Mm-hmm.
Say it louder.
Yes, he did.
And I just looked at him. You don't like women to touch you. I know that. Because I ain't never seen you with a woman. I ain't never seen you with a dial. I ain't never seen you with a G.I. Joe. I heard about you. I heard about people whooped your butt down in 47th Street for trying to approach them young stones. And they don't play that gay stuff. And they whooped your butt. I know one day in 2005, I came to your house to deal with this case against Braswell Bay. And there was a brother in the house, and I came in there talking. And that brother looked at me strange. He looked like he was jealous. I kept on looking, I said, I'm going to have to hurt me a nigga. So I took the little knife that Billy had, the little sharp knife. I put that down. I said, this nigga make a move, say anything crazy, I'm going to cut his throat. I'm just looking at him in Belly Hill. So I would get up at night and use the bathroom, and I'm listening to him in the room whispering when I come out the room. I said, okay. Then, Lane Hill, I'm talking to him, and he tell me, he said, Mo, you know, we went up there and you was right. I said, what you mean I was right? Belly Hill's a faggot. I said, I know that. I said, how did you find out? He said, I went up there, supposed to have our convention, but we got there early. And so we came in the house, and Belly Hill had 2 men in the bed. And he said, me and the brother was just getting ready to have services. So you want to come there? And so they said, no, we're going to go get our room and stuff. And I'm like, how did y'all know that? You know, because there's a room here, door generally closed. And then you go to the bathroom here, there's another door to that same room that leads to the bathroom. He said, we saw the 2 young boys in the bed, half naked. I said, what? He said, yeah. I said, he said, you right. I said, what made y'all think I was wrong? I wasn't wrong about telling on y'all. I'm not wrong about him. Well, Mo, you know, brother, I'm the most hated Mo for telling the truth. I remember one time Braswell Bay told me, you know, Raya, he married 2 men. I said, if they did, they was your members. Huh? The only people I married in your temple was a man and a woman. I know the woman was pregnant. Because they came back for a birth certificate for the children. So if I married them, now you say one was a man, one was a woman. Which one? Because that girl had a butt. Men don't have no butts like that. Unless they go to Brazil. There wasn't no Brazilian butts out there. That sister had a butt. It moved by itself like soldiers. Her butt stood up like a tent, like soldiers. And they was on the move. Yeah, big birthday people, yeah. So I just said, okay. And once they brought the room out in Chicago, everybody started asking Braswell Bay, show us that. He said, because Braswell Bay, we know Rael don't mess with homosexuals. I done mess with them in prison. I ain't messing with them on the street. Now, if I gonna mess with someone, I mess with them in prison. Cause there, it's all right. On the streets, it's wrong. There, it's in trouble. I'm just saying what they say. When you're locked up in prison, that girl's your boy. Yeah, different customs. Y'all know y'all good for them customs ideas. Yeah, but me, I can't mess with them in or out. So anyway, they told me before he passed, somebody said, yeah, sister came to the temple and she said she liked him. I said he didn't like her. I remember when he told me to tell that his daddy smacked him so bad for he acted so hoish like a little girl. His daddy smacked the piss out of him. And that came out of Belial's mouth. I said, Belial, what were you doing? I was acting up. I said, what were you acting at? Oh, you being gay, huh? Your daddy told you to straighten up, boy, and smack the piss out of you. He said, yeah, he hit me so hard I peed on myself. Yeah, you's a hoe. A man gets smacked so hard, don't no pee come out. He get mad. But your daddy smacked the piss out of you. Okay. But I knew about Belial. I knew his uncles. His uncle did time. His cousin did time. Belial the third did time with me. You know, I knew about Belial. So my thing, okay, Tahaka, you went over there, you and Edward Hill went over there to Belial. Found him interesting. Y'all stayed with him to get paperwork, documents and stuff. Okay. When I went over there, I had him get fired from his job because I couldn't be under him. That's the difference. When I went over there at Belial with Braswell Bay, with P. Davis here at Braswell Bay, I said, I can't follow him, y'all. He can't be over me. And they got him fired. So he stopped being the Supreme Grand Sheik from 1992 to 1996. Guess what? He didn't become nothing until I left. Why wasn't he something when I was there? Because I don't follow faggots. You do. I can be in an organization where you got a faggot. He needs salvation too, but I don't have to follow. I ain't gonna take no orders from a faggot. I'll tell you quick. No go. Me no speak of the English. Brother, no, me no speak of that damn language. So, I just know. But the catch is this here. When he joined with Belial, you acknowledged him as being your supreme grand sheik. This is what you said, that he is my supreme grand sheik. Now, according to Islamic law, if you got somebody you chose to be over you, no matter how bad he is, you have to follow his instructions until you get him. That's Islamic law. That ain't Rael's law, that's Islamic law. So you chose Belial. Now Belial became your supreme grand sheik. In other words, Belial became your prophet. Because everybody took the position of supreme grand sheik had to do that through the prophet. That station was given out by the prophet. The prophet gave that station as next to him. So if your leader is the supreme grand sheik, you have to do what he say. No matter, he can have one eye and tell you to look out one eye. He can tell you, if you got one leg, tell you hop around one leg. You got to do that. You know, you do the sensible thing. So I said, Belial gave me his charge as national. Because I met, see, the thing that's different, the reason he didn't want to sit on my show and talk, because I met him. See, I met Tahaka when he followed that Noble Juali up there. The brother in Baltimore called us and said, Prophet Noble Juali. Met him there at the long table. And I had my sword on, like that much charm on my sword, which I always have. He said, brother, why you got it on the sword? I come outside, I don't know who the hell you is. I don't know who you is. I don't know what you might do. You call yourself a prophet. You call yourself my prophet. You may do anything. And I'm prepared. Justice page 5. And so we talked, and so then he stood up. Listen, that guy had his state ID. He had his right. All of us said, Prophet Noble Juali on it. He put it on the table. See the European recognize me. Why don't you recognize what the prophet said? I said, but you're not my prophet. And the European don't care what you call yourself, especially if you can fool me. Well, brother, he looked. Now he at the other end of the table. He's here. I'm at that end of the table. Tahaka over here, some more people over there. He asked Tahaka, Who am I to you? Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Prophet Noble Jew Ali. He looked over here. Who am I to y'all? Everybody in the whole line. Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Prophet Noble Jew Ali. The whole line. Everybody, his wife, everybody talking about Prophet Noble Jew Ali. And I looked at him. When you fools get through it, we can talk. He turned around. He said, brother, who am I to you? I said, you're not my prophet. Brother, I said, brother, you key 93. What did key 93 say?
What title did Satan give himself?
What?
What title did Satan give himself?
You know he didn't know that. I said, he said, what are you saying? I said, you the prophet. You don't know what you wrote. He told him, go downstairs and get the book. Now, so the book he got, I thought I had one down up here. It's called If I Draw, You Cut. There's a little picture of him on the front, that little dumb stuff he got. So, my brother come back with the book, he was key 93. White me, pretty me. No, key 93. What did title Satan give himself? God. He said, I don't call myself God, you call yourself the prophet. The prophet was Allah made manifest. You're not my prophet. So we left in 2003. We was up there. Cause we had a meeting, a lecture, and Moors from all over Baltimore. Matter of fact, the brother from Newark, New Jersey, Anthony Bay, came, and some more people came from different grand bodies. And we was talking. And I said, you know, I'm so tired of you Moors, you don't even know your prophet. Yes, we do. I said, brother, who is the God of your father Allah then on your card? That's not on my nationality card. I said, yes, it is. It's on mine. Who the God of your father? That ain't a card. These were grand governors. These were brothers with black beards on, divine ministers. And that's it. Show me your card then. Let's see. They went in their pocket. What the card say? What the card say? Tell me.
This is your nationality and identification card for the Moorish symbol of America and birth rights for the Moorish Americans, etc. We honor all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad,
Buddha, Confucius.
May the blessings of the God of our
Wait, who?
May the blessings of the God
We made a what? You got your card? What your card say? Say the same thing. So who's the God of your forefather? Who's the God of Allah? So the God of our father Allah. So when I asked them, they couldn't nobody answer. Did you know they started talking? It's an error. It's a mistake. I said, no. Use an error. Use a mistake. Because y'all don't know. You're going to make the prophet wrong so you can be right. Y'all going to make my prophet wrong so you can be right. Now check that. You're going to make my prophet wrong. Well, it's an error. Who printed the damn card? The prophet. So you saying the prophet is wrong. I said, y'all think about that. Y'all saying my prophet is wrong just because you stupid. You didn't know it was on your nationality card. That's the first thing I had to learn in the temple, in the prison. I had to learn my nationality card, 101 questions, and 7 acts. And this is how they gave it to me. They gave me 1 act, 15 questions. I had 1 act, 15 questions. That's how I learned. I couldn't get another act until I learned. Then you have to do sit-ups. You see, I ain't got no muscle. I didn't do no sit-ups because I learned mine. I went in that cell and come out the next day. I knew all the questions. Everybody said, but backwards. Woo! They said, man, you know, yeah. When I come out of prison, Mathino Cookbay tried to talk to me. I said, not only did I know the questionnaire backwards, I knew the Holy Quran of the Moor. I had all that in my head. That's why the next year they made me the Sunday school teacher. I come out of prison in 78 and 79. I was made the assistant grand sheik and the Sunday school teacher. Because I knew more, and all of them were born Moors. I'm a born Moor. You're a born hoe. Now I said I'm a born Moor. You said you're a born hoe. Okay. Now, you mean to tell me I could come out of prison after 5 years of studying and know more than you, and you born a Moor. Your grandfathers walked with the prophet. And then hardly none of y'all in the temple. Y'all out there prostituting at home. I remember the sister, I was at right across, we used to meet in Cabrini Green. And the sister come out to give me some chicken at the barbecue place. She said, Brother Rael, they mad at you. I said, what they mad at me about, little sister? She said, cause why do you have to say the prayer so slow? I said, where y'all gotta go? Cause I'll say the prayers like this here. Allah. Father of the universe. like that.
Mm-hmm.
David, I said, y'all want to go somewhere Friday. Now, this is the thing. The sister had to be about 9 or 10 then. Next time I seen her, she was in her 20s, homing. I never forget it. Me and my play brother Lee was going to McDonald's. I heard somebody say, Brother Ryan, Brother Ryan. I looked around, I'm like, who the hell called me? I see this fine, brown-skinned, half-naked sister with her boobies hanging out and stuff, dressed so short. And I'm looking. She said, yeah, Brother Ryan. I said, dang. I ain't never messed with black hoes, but I might be able to go this way. So she called me and we talked. And we talking, she said, I'm such and such cook, babe. I said, oh my God. She said, you know, I wanted to ask you the question. I said, this is where you rushed out to be, sister? You rushed out to be a hoe? And she just looked at me. By the time my pimp came over and he was talking crazy, till he seen who I was. Oh, Brother Ryan, I didn't know that was you, man. These hoes don't know what they're talking about. I said, I know. I closed the door and walked on in. And I said, all that time, in my Sunday school class, I tried everything I could to possibly focus your mind on the prophet, not the streets. To focus your mind on the prophet, on his teaching. Even now, I'm trying to get you to focus on the prophet. Do you know that once you discover who you are in the realm of the divinity, man, it makes your stomach jump. It makes you just feel, it blows your head up because, listen, you recognize who you are. You recognize who you are. That you one with Allah. I mean, it's impossible for you to be around anybody and they don't feel it too. People feel your madness. And they give you all types of reasons why you can't be that type of man. Why you can't be that type of woman. Why? You know you can't do it. Why? You know, I ordered some stuff. And I told my wife she got to put it together. Some little minions. I'm going to put them around here. Hang them on the flagpole and stuff. Little toy minions. But I couldn't put them together because I don't have that type of skill. My wife do. And so, did you say you going to get you some too? Little men? I'm going to hang them around you. So when you see these little men, colored men hanging around here, don't be mad. They don't have swords and stuff in there. Don't be mad. I'm going to have one of them on the camel. And I'm going to get the white one. I'm going to have the black one on the camel with the sword and the white one with a rope around his neck.
I knew you would say that. I knew you was going to say that.
Yeah. So I'm going to put him on this camel here. See? And he going to be up here. And behind him going to be the European. In front of him going to be a European. And he going to have him with his sword in his hand. Yes. Yes. So I said, man, I can do a lot with these little toys. You can the way you want to. I said, I'm going to do it. And his brother said, you know, I'll go do that. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little sandbox and everything. You know, and huh? Oasis, yeah. So, that's right. So, anyway, we went over. I'm sorry. So tonight we're going to have another TV exciting show, if the truth be told. And we're going to deal with, you got 98 years and you ain't sent nobody out to do nothing yet. Think about that. 98 years. I remember I met the Empress in 94. She said Moorish scientific have never got a building over 2 stories tall and did anything. She said that in 1992, I know the date, it was a Saturday. September the 17th, 1994, city of Chicago. And she said that I couldn't stop them. Moors had property that looked like, it looked like the ghetto, like a plantation where the slaves run off. Raggedy as heck. And we're going to talk about this. We're going to further this thought. We want to face this crisis. This crisis that we're facing is a crisis made because you're not teaching what the prophet brought. If law governs all events, then what law governs this event? Think about that. What law governs the event of your Sunday school not sending out teachers? They Cherokees. Probably wasn't cracker. What kind of cracker Polly want? Polly don't know. Just give Polly a damn cracker. Cracker. Anyway, come and close this out. My wife be throwing them finger signs at me. Come on, man. Come on up here, man. Come on up here with me. What, you getting all this? You getting A for all this Islam, huh? So you go out in the dog, you wearing, Bismillah, Bismillah, you go out there in the woods, you be Bismillah. You be chasing the dirty dogs away.
Islam. That's right.
Islam.
Here you go, man.
Islam.
This is for you.
Islam. We continue to rise, giving eternal praise unto Allah, giving highest honors to our holy divine prophet, Noble Drawley. As we come back off all the honors given this day, we'll be reading from the Holy Quran, chapter 32, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, Charity. As it reads, happy is the man who has sown his breast to see the benevolence. The produce thereof shall be charity and love. From the fountain of his heart shall rise rivers of goodness, and the stream shall overflow for the benefit of mankind. He assists the poor in their trouble. He rejoices in furthering the prosperity of all men. He believeth not the tales of envy and malevolence, neither he repeateth their slander. For evil he returneth not evil. He hateth not even his enemies, but requireth their injustice with a friendly admonition. The griefs of men excites compassion. He endeavoureth to alleviate misfortune, and the pleasure of success his labour. He calmeth the fury. He healeth the quarrels of angry men, and preventeth the mischiefs of strife and animosity. He promoteth in his neighbourhood peace and goodwill, and his name is repeated with praise and benediction. Islam. As always, we thank those who continue to support the Moorish temples of Islam. As our reading, just as you saw the man put 20 last night, so there are men waiting to put thousands of dollars for the progress of this divine movement. Then I in turn use among the temples, seeing that you are comfortable. I can show many illustrations. I've demonstrated that you may use my money if your heart is right, pure, and just. So, this is a New Year's celebration. Turn over a new leaf, you Moors. This is beginning a new business. The heads of all temples, the Grand Sheiks, Grand Sheikas, must conform themselves to the divine principles, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. They must live the life among the members and be loved by them as even the prophet is loved. They must not the principle of segregation among any group in his or her temple. With that more, let it be he or she that is the head of any temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America that there come any grievances. Notify the prophet instantly, and do not attempt to quiet among yourselves. All heads of all temples are to constrict and conform to these laws. From the prophet, Noble Drawley. Moorish Science Temple of America. This is dated October the 17th, 1928. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instruction from your prophet, Noble Drawley. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, Noble Drawley. And that is why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they will be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drawley. Our salvation. Allah, unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And it is known before the of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. Ought to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is a holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister, or on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779, and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name, to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drawley, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband, take care of your children, and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious, and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure of love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drawley, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Noble Drawley is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. As it is recorded, the holy divine prophet Noble Drawley once stated, if there is something going on wrong in your grand body, and the head of the temple knows what's going on wrong, and he doesn't stop it, it's because he is in on what's going on wrong. And as our leadership has declared, there is no sense in having the laws if after they've been read that they are violated willfully and continuously, and that there is nothing done to say a violator of law. It's because he is in on what's going on wrong, and you are part of the problem. Islam. At this time, we're going to yield the meeting back to our grand governors, Sheikh Isaiah Sadi Hill, and we're going to leave you as we came. That's in peace and love and praises unto Allah Almighty.
Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah.
Islam. Before we close out, we just got a quick announcement.
Wait. Do we have any questions over there? Did anybody ask any questions?
I didn't see any.
You didn't see any? I just wanted to know. I know they're scared. But they should man up.
We want to acknowledge study group number 1 in Tennessee. New member, Sister Ashley, welcome to the community. And we are definitely will bring her into the fold when she gets acclimated. All our new members go through a process of orientation to kind of get to
Yes.
the whole shebang. And our missionary, Minister Moab and Chikas Aisha, is the head of our new
Missionary.
membership
Yeah.
um, department, and so they hands on when it comes to the new members, and so we appreciate and welcome sister on a journey. Told they had a chance to break bread with her, and so Islam. We want to extend our acknowledgments. I know we and I guess the sister will step into doing this more often. We want to acknowledge all our members that have birthrights in the past month. We generally, what the chief has done, and it's been one of the things that just kind of poured in and just been a measure. When we do our membership appreciation dinner every year during convention, it is a way to celebrate the members, your birthdays, anniversaries, all. It's a general measure in how we are saying Islam and thank you. That's why we give the little gifts. We gotta get some. We ran out some of the bags, the red bags.
We gotta get members put some money there.
Yeah.
Keep
But we got some more. We got some. Yeah.
My birthday money.
So we had a lot of. This year we had more promotional items than we had last year. I mean, we had bread, bees, candles, all. I mean, a lot of beautiful
stuff. We need to have a foot.
So that was the gift that Chief generally gives in appreciation for them, and we do. And then locally, I think we're gonna go back and doing our maybe once a month dinner,
yes.
temple dinner, and
yes.
to Spring Gardens. That's is a Islamic restaurant. Our neighbors down the street own it, and when we went there, they treated us royally. It was beautiful. Food was great. Love the atmosphere. It's not far from here. Actually, it's not far at all. And so, and we don't have to worry about, the food because it is literally next to the Mosque Jed.
It's right next.
It's right next there, and they actually built a sanctuary where you can, like a park, like over there. So the Islamic community
takes care of its own.
Yeah, takes care of its own. So. They welcome, and they have a bazaar every Friday or every other, something like that. So they sell goods and stuff. We will definitely use that as our point of breaking bread. And we also have Chef Rafik.
Yes, we got to go back to the phase, yes.
He's definitely went his way out with the birthday of Chief when we did the birthday. And his wife Rita, they invited us, and this is the owner of the Imperial Fez restaurant. We've been knowing him since we were 20-something years. Yeah, it's been a long time. So when he sees us, he always says, "The Moors family." And shit. He always gives us great honors, and I love the way he deals with the history in terms of food and why. In Africa, while we touch food, because we touch is a sense that our mouths start to salivate and get prepared for the items we about to eat. That's why touching was a big thing. It's like some really great stuff. But anyway, we want to say Islam to all our family members had birthrights. May Allah continue to bless you in another year. As one leaves, one comes in. We've seen members that took their hand off the religious plow, thinking Allah was winking at their ones, and these are just lessons for us to kind of just give Allah all the glory. Thank Allah. Give God Allah all the praises that we continue to be on the path. So with that being said, if you are interested in joining the Moorish Scientific America, go to our main website. If you're on the planet Earth, you can connect to us. Anything outside of that may take a little bit more technology-wise, but we'll work it out. But generally, if you're on the planet Earth, we got you. Just tap on the membership and work your measure and what is asked for you, and we go from there. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close out.
Send donations.
Always, we ask that the Sheikh Jakarta Red charity, which is that's the point in which we ask everyone. to send a donation. Cash App M.S.T.A. 1928. You'll see our logo. You know who we are, and we're on the main website. You can give. You can actually do it as a reciprocity. Go buy a book off the Moorish Islamic store. This
Just send the money. You ain't got to buy nothing. Just send the money.
Islam. So we're going to leave y'all in peace and love. Please hold fast. Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers' divine creative principles. We ask this in thy holy name and of the seven Elohims. Islam. Islam. Thank you for being the best part of what we do, and that is to inform, educate, and uplift. We welcome you to learn more about us, join our mailing list, or perhaps you are seeking to become a member of our community. We invite you to visit our website at msta1928.org. You would also find a host of various publications to aid in your understanding about the history and faith of Islam from a Moorish American perspective at the MoorishIslamicStore.com. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to be informed of our regular scheduled programs. May Allah go before you. We leave you in the best of ways, peace and love, in praises to Allah Almighty.